Oh, hello. This is session number 8. It's actually a continuation of session number 7. We had a bit of a technical glitch, and the camera stopped recording. It doesn't really matter because I'm intended to stop soon anyway. But I'll continue from where I left. I was talking about the use of the term organic, like when people, consumers, use the word organic, they mean something. But if you say the word organic to a chemist, because his or her brain is wired differently, they will think of an organic compound that is defined by the laws of chemistry as an organic compound. But as a matter of fact, even chemists are still in a bit of an argument about what can be and can't be defined as an organic substance. But again, let's not get into this. To complicate the matter even more, so here we go, we've got two definitions of what is organic. But to complicate it more, there's actually a third definition to what is organic, and that is the certified organic. So when you go to the supermarket or to a health store and you buy a product that is organic, what does it really mean? Now you ask someone, okay, so this is an organic lettuce and you paid X amount of dollars for it. What does it mean that it's organic? They will tell you, you'll get different answers. Some may say it's chemical free. Well, nothing really is chemical free. As we have heard before, everything is made of chemicals. The only thing that is chemical free is empty space, vacuum. That's the only thing that's chemical free. So your organic lettuce cannot be chemical free. Well, we understand what they mean when they say chemical free. They mean pesticide free. It's free from harmful chemicals. But is this really the case? Well, we shall look into that. I'm not saying it isn't, but we should look into it. So there you go. You've got three definitions of organic. There's one that is stipulated by the older definition, that's something that's derived from a living organism, or by the definition of organic chemistry, it's a compound that must have carbon in it. And the third one, certified organic, but people don't normally say certified organic, they just say organic. So what does certified organic mean? This is something in relation now to the organic industry. The organic industry is multi-tiered. So you've got primarily, of course, you have the retailers, and as the customer, that's probably all you know. You go to the retailer and you buy an organic product. But what's behind the retailer does nothing. It just takes product from person A and sells it to person B. But how does the product end up on his shelf? First of all, you have to have the certifiers. These are the most important link in the chain. The certifiers are private companies actually that tell growers what they can and they cannot use on their product for them to be certified organic. So you've got the growers on one hand and the certifiers on the other hand. And in between the two, of course, you have the manufacturers. So you have the manufacturers of organic products, the certifiers of organic products, and the grower that has to abide, just like the manufacturers and the growers have to abide by the regulations stipulated by the certifiers. Now, how does this work for you as the consumer? Of course, because there are so many, tiers of business involved in this thing, it means that the end product becomes very expensive. Of course, because everyone wants a bite of the cherry. And again, I'm not being critical here. I'm just telling you facts. The other thing is that people, when they believe that when they buy something that is certified organic, it's not chemical free. We said nothing is chemical free, but it's not even pesticide free. It's not. There's a whole list, and you can look it up. I'm not going to show you the list here. It's very huge. I'll put the link, in the bottom of the presentation, and you can look it up. Every certifier has a list of chemicals that are approved by them. Now, does this mean that these chemicals are safe? I don't know. I'm not here to make the judgment. But I'll give you an example. Pyrethrin, for example. Pyrethrin is an insecticide, which does exist in nature. Yes, some flowers, chrysanthemum, the chrysanthemum type of flowers, they produce this pyrethrin. It's an insecticide. Okay, now you can get pyrethrin. You can go to any gardening store and buy pyrethrin as a synthetic form, which is not something that the organic industry would advocate. Okay, so they will allow the use of pyrethrin provided that it's being sourced from an organic source, from a plant. Now, does it mean that it is less poisonous? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe you need to ask them that question. Now, I understand that there are many things that you will find naturally, let's say in herbs. And the medicinal use of herbs has been around for many, many years. And for the right or wrong reasons, chemists, pharmacognosists, that form of pharmacology, pharmacy, they got into this and they said, okay, here we go. This is, let's talk about ephedrine, which is now illegal. You can't use it anymore. Ephedrine is a chemical that is produced by a plant called ephedra. And that was used for many, many years, for relaxing the bronchioles and for opening up, your chest. It's used for asthma, put it that way. It's an asthma molecule, asthma treatment molecule. And when pharmacologists got into analyzing what's in that flower, they identified this molecule, and because of the name of the flower, they called it ephedrine. And then, of course, that gave rise to other things, pseudoephedrine, and many other things that are similar in their shape and structure and actually effect to the original substance that you find in the flower, in ephedra. Now, what can happen sometimes is that even though those scientists have been able to identify one substance and they're able to synthesize it, then when you use it on its own, it may have a different effect as compared to when you use it in the plant, because in the plant, maybe there was other things that were with it that, the scientists didn't even take notice of. Things that will either make it more potent, things that will make it more available to you, or things that will, let's say, diminish its toxicity, if it is toxic. I'll give you another example. We all know that vitamin C is high in citrus fruit. Okay? Now, when they identified the substance and they called it ascorbic acid, it's not citric acid, that's something else. Ascorbic acid is vitamin C. Okay. Now, you take vitamin C in a tablet form, your body will absorb some of it, not all of it. And later on, they found out that citrus fruit has other substances in it, other than ascorbic acid, that will help with the assimilation of this ascorbic acid. Rutin is one of them, R-U-T-I-N. And you will find actually in many supplements now, when you buy, let's say, vitamin C, it will say it has vitamin C, and it also has the flavonoids or the biflavonoids. These are substances that are naturally found in the fruit and maybe in the ephedra plant that will make that active ingredient more effective. Okay? Now, does this really apply everywhere? I really don't know. And is it safe to say, because a substance has been sourced from a natural source, from an existing source, that it is safe for us to use? I really don't know. But make no mistake, because organic products are legally, growers have the right to use those substances that have been assigned to them for use, including insecticides, except that this insecticide is derived from natural sources. But then it becomes a little bit more tricky, you know, more what shall I say? Not tricky, a bit more complex, because there are certain things. Let's say like gypsum. Gypsum is a natural deposit, and you can get it from different sources, you know, all over the world. And a grower cannot use gypsum, for example, unless that gypsum is organically certified. Now, I'm not convinced that there is such a thing as organically certifiable gypsum and one that's not. So, and that adds up to the cost, of course, because an organic gypsum, one that is certified organic, is more expensive than one that's not. So the cost is passed on to you. In situations like these, you know, the grower will think twice and say, do I really need this? If they see that they don't need it for the health and welfare of their crop, they're not going to use it. They will try to cut costs. And they're not doing anything that is unethical or improper. However, this approach sometimes, and I will be talking about this later on, and I have to make it very, very clear, I'm not making any judgment or criticisms of any organization or any method or any procedure or technique or grower. I'm just telling you facts. The fact is that because farmers don't have an obligation to apply certain things, okay, it's all about what you can't apply. See, that's what the regulators tell them. You cannot, let's say, apply Roundup. And I'm glad they can't apply Roundup. Don't get me wrong, that's a good thing. But they don't tell them you have to apply this. And as a result, you may end up with produce that's not necessarily high in things like trace elements. You know, like there is a consensus that organically grown food is higher in nutrition. That's not true. It doesn't have to be. It can be, but it's not a rule. There is no regulation that farmers have to follow that guarantees that their produce will be higher in, let's say, iron, zinc, manganese than other crops. More about this later on. Thank you very much for listening.